Every path to the biggest stage is different. Each NHLer has their own story, and Seattle Kraken goalie Joey Daccord is no different.
It has taken me longer than most to make it to NHL. As my first full season at 27 years old, that's probably one of the older NHL rookies,
Daccord has had a long and winding route to the show. He watched 20 other goalies get taken before he was selected by the Ottawa Senators as a 7th-round pick in 2015. Daccord wouldn't become a full-on NHLer until 2023, 3 years after the Kraken picked him from Ottawa in the expansion draft, and 8 years after his original selection.
I think I'm most proud of that is that I stuck with it. I stayed resilient. I kept competing, kept fighting, and kept working hard, and then ultimately made it.
Daccord knew that he had to find a way to separate himself from his peers.
Mental side's the biggest part. I think there's so many goalies and there's so many hockey players and everyone's so good. There's so much talent, especially nowadays that the talent level is off the charts. There's so many good goalies, so many good players. I think the mental side is the separator. The guys that can understand, when they got to dial it in, when they can, rely on maybe some of their talent a little bit more, when they can just know exactly what's needed at the right time. That's that mental toughness. That's that mental grit. When to be resilient, when to be, when to put that extra work in, when to go the extra mile, when to, focus on being a great teammate, when to, there's so many different ways that can be utilized. But I think that mental side of it is the biggest separator at that highest level because there are so many good players. For each player and each goalie, you have to find what works best for you and how you can find your 1% separator. For me, Sense Arena is a huge part of that.
NHL Sense Arena is a virtual reality training tool that helps both goalies and skaters get better at their craft. With game-like scenarios and constant reps, it affords players like Daccord a chance to find an advantage.
I started incorporating it in the last couple seasons, and now it's in the last 2 years specifically has become a huge part of my everyday routine. For me personally, I find that it's a way that I can keep improving my game, stay sharp with my game. For me, it is an amazing way to just try to find that extra 1%. The way it was explained to me was it was going to be more of like a fun game. Little did I know that it was going to be an incredibly vital training tool that is a huge part of my everyday routine.
Now an entrenched member of the Kraken, Daccord no longer needs to dream about the NHL. Instead, he's embraced his position as a role model for those still dreaming of a shot at the pros.
I think having that experience is huge. Going from ASU, where it's an expansion franchise, expansion program, new team. I played a year in Coachella Valley, which was an expansion team, and then now with Seattle, who's a couple years into their expansion team. I think you can learn from each of them and realize how special it is for the fans. I think that's the biggest thing you take away from it is, okay, Seattle hasn't had hockey in so long. To see the way that Seattle has supported the team and really bought into hockey and supporting us means that it's about the fans and it's about giving them everything that they've been missing for so long. And to see the way that they've supported us makes it about them. And that's something that I've learned from having been through the expansion process a few times now, is that you play for the fans and they'll reward you and they'll support you. And I think that's been the most special part of it. I was always an underdog, or it took me such a long time to get to where I am now. And I had to work so hard that I think it helps some of these younger guys believe that, hey, if they put the work in, they put the time in, they can get there. And you look at when I was a kid and how I was inspired by these guys that I saw playing, training, excelling at the highest level, college, junior. You look at these guys and you think, wow, I'd love to be them, to play against them. And now to be on the other side of that is really what it's all about. It's such a special opportunity and a unique opportunity, and something that I don't take lightly. I think when you have that chance to inspire kids to go after their dreams and see that it's possible,